Welcome back home to Tall Poppy. This is part 2 of our initial interview with Bailey Heckel of Ziggie.com. At the end of this interview, please hit like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and again, if you haven't hit the little bell, then hit that and we can let you know the moment that we upload any other content about Ziggie and Bailey and any updates on their adventures. They are doing such amazing things, and there's already some updates that we can't wait to share with you. Enjoy this interview.
Yeah.
So who's on your team now? Who are the core people?
Yeah, we've got a couple guys up in. So we're a remote team, and that comes with its challenges. And I think, I'll just side note, the future of business, if we don't completely embrace the idea that here's your life and your job revolves around it, not here's your job and your life has to revolve around that. Like, we're really about life, and your job's a component of that. People want to live where they want to live.
Right.
They sometimes need to live where they're living. And so we've embraced that from our early ethos.
So that takes a lot of maturity, but it also takes confidence, but
trust.
Also reliability and a lot of strong character traits.
Absolutely.
To be able to play in a team.
That we're getting to know each other at a distance while we're doing a startup. And if I had to, I'll say, give us gold stars in one area, it's that. I'm probably I don't know all the perfect tools we should be using because I didn't grow up like that in my career. But the technology that's available to us to keep a team connected wherever we are in the world that's table stakes for business of the future. So we're leaning into that from day one. We've got some pushback from investors on that, you can't create a culture if you're never together.
Well, I don't know about that because you have a lot of these high-tech firms that just outsourcing. All the services are outsourced. If you can't manage yourselves as an executive team in that way, and understand the intricacies and problems inherent with that, then how can you manage someone?
Totally. And when somebody tells me, and this is the upstart in me, that's
the tall poppy.
That says, well, you're not going to be able to create a culture if you're. I was like, well, I'll show you. I'm like, of course we'll create a culture, because culture is something that starts here. And if I can connect here to there, whether we're in the same room every day or whether I see you once a quarter,
as long as you're sharing the same belief systems, the same rituals, the same values.
And Ziggie is a very value-based company.
And it has a common core, so to speak, with what your beliefs are.
Absolutely.
So you've got your
there's 10 people on the team right now.
So if you want to name them off.
Stas, and I won't butcher his last name.
Right.
It's Russian, and so Stas is our developer. He's up in Canada, in Vancouver, where I used to be as well. Eric Arsenault, he's also one of our players up in Canada. And then Susie Park is our Chief Revenue Officer. She's in San Francisco. Garrett Gooch is a brand liaison and just a networker extraordinaire, helping with bringing brands on, and he's really got the heart of the sustainable fashion space. He's in LA. Tom Durso is in Nevada. He's our Chief Revenue Officer, our CFO, and Tom came from Burton's and Ben & Jerry's, and he worked for Tom's Shoes. So he's got this.
And another compassionate consumer.
Yep, absolutely.
They were one of the leaders of that.
Absolutely. Impact commerce is how I like to call it.
As at Newman's. So the others are.
And then Craig Broad, who's our CEO, myself, Amy Jacobs, who works on our marketplace team, and Brad Puryear, who is in the operations space with me, a former colleague at Coldwater, and Jason Toney, who is helping with business development and investor relations.
Oh.
So that's it. Like, I can count us all. Like, there'll be one of these days I'll be like, and then there's these, and there's these, and there's 10,000 of us now.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really important for you to have the right sort of brands that come on board
Absolutely.
with you. So what are the criteria that you have for the brands that you're going to be representing?
Yeah,
on your platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Ziggie is a platform, correct?
Correct. Yeah. We're definitely. I mean, if you go on the site right now,
Which is?
It was Ziggie.com. Ziggie.
Right.
Ziggie.com. It may appear to be I'll say a standard, which I hate that, but it's a marketplace shopping site and we've got editorial and we've got great products and we're telling impact stories about some of the work that we've done with organizations and just results and stories from the organizations as a whole. We do some features on our brands, and the bigger picture, which is what our next steps are, which hopefully when we talk again, I'll be able to be like, Josephie, here's what we're up to, and it's all coming to life. So first, it's getting brands on that play in the sustainability space and have a sense
Which means?
Well, I'll be a little bit vague.
Right.
And part of this is because I don't have all the resources that I know I want long term. What we've been focusing on is the basics. No child labor. Let's just start with that. And it is a sad reality that that's actually something that we're
How
still
can you
happening.
ensure that that's not happening?
Well, we're starting with a lot of manufacturing in LA and here in the US where we could actually audit it ourselves.
Okay.
And the labor practices are here where it's much more stringent anyway. Right. As we start to break out into manufacturing elsewhere, there's all kinds of third-party certification that people are living into. So that's a big component of we want to be, and I will claim this is a place where we've got work to do. Like, I want to be able to be the gold standard of someone being able to trust what they're buying, and I need to work that out more because I think a lot of people have tried to do that, and I don't think we've nailed it yet. So that's on our radar, and so maybe when I come back,
and as you said, you can't do it all initially. You just got to get started and get.
And that's our like in the vision for next. We touched on it earlier.
So
transparency is super important. So
and it should be within the organization that you're representing as well.
Yep.
So where is Ziggie now in the lifespan of Ziggie? You've beta tested or
we're live. I mean, it's a live site. We launched in middle of May, so we haven't been up all that long. This is the baby just took her first steps. She's still tottering. It's really exciting.
As long as you move. If you fall, you get up.
Yep, and get up and brush your knees off.
Yeah.
So we launched in May. We've got about 80 brands on, a whole bunch more in the pipeline.
And how many nonprofits?
I've got 2 that I'm working on getting loaded this week and next, so I think I'll be at 11.
Right.
That actually, the only slowdown on that is being able to, it's just the manpower to get them on, because that's and I'll say that's actually been some of the most rewarding for me to get involved and meet some of these folks. And we focus on, we call it Make It Local. So we have organizations that are like World Vision, Heifer International, Water.org, Leukemia Lymphoma Society. They're all on the platform. And then I've got smaller organizations.
So for those people who want to donate locally?
Whether it's local, we say make it local. If it's a concern close to heart or home, is just as important as a global concern. And
charity starts at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're focusing on both, and and I've got some ideas on how we can speed that up. But
doing it properly at first is really what's important.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we don't just put them in a database where we actually build them a page, and we tell their story, and we bring in images so we can show what they're about, and then we work with them if they've got major campaigns that they're running. Then we built so it's like there's a presence, and we're trying to really give them space.
Similar to what we're doing is you can't connect without the story.
Right, 100%.
And so getting the story out, following the journey is how you connect.
Yeah.
So lead us through the process for the customer coming to your site.
Sure.
Because with compassionate consumerism, or as you like to call it,
Impact commerce.
impact commerce,
Yeah.
is like Paul Newman's brand was one of the first to sort of get into this, and then there was Tom's. Is yours is a little bit different in that its way of distributing the donation, so to speak. So how does the customer have control over that?
Absolutely.
What is the transparency over that?
Totally.
How do you validate that?
Yep. So the giving occasion is built into the purchasing occasion. So I purchased this top for $100, and I'll just keep the math simple. We give up to 10% into your impact account.
And it's up to is based on
margins, and like if we had a car on there, maybe it's only up to 2%, or maybe it's only 2%, but right now everything on the site is 10%. And that's what our goal is, but there might be some movement in there.
Promise.
Yeah, it goes into your impact account. And so now
you have an impact account.
Yep, so you have an impact account, and so the first feature that is in the impact account today is the ability to direct the donation of your impact dollars. And those are real dollars. They're not points and something that doesn't actually exist. It's real money that then we, at the end of every month, we reconcile, and then we cut a check to the impact organizations. So we're
and they can choose one or many.
Yeah, one or many. So like I'll use myself an example. I have $80 in my impact account. I donated $5 to sea turtles.
I'm just doing the math here on how much you've spent on Ziggie.
Well, you got to test the product. And so I gave some to Sea Turtle Conservancy, I've given some to Heifer, I gave some to Vital Ground. I still have a little bit of money in my account, which...
so it can accrue?
Yeah, so it just sits there.
Okay.
And so you can add more.
And so at the end of the financial year, the customer gets a statement?
Yeah, well, right now, you can print it off the site, actually. That's very transparent as to how much impact dollars you've made. We will do some sort of statement, so we can say, hey, over the course of the year, you purchased this much, you generated this many impact dollars, which you've given them away in this manner to these organizations. So you'd get a reconciliation.
So is that usable for your tax?
Not yet. So right now, that's Ziggie giving money away, like top line, which and some people are like, well, how can you afford to give top line revenue away? It's like, well, it's something. It's an expense. It's baked into our business model.
So the customer is not getting a statement saying that they've donated.
No, yeah. Right now, that's just Ziggie. What we will provide is the ability to see how that's all occurred, and then of course behind the scenes the audit trail, so we can through our financials prove that we've done all these donations. And our major goal is for that to be as transparent to everyone as possible, because that's if we aren't in integrity with that core component of our business, we shouldn't be.
Would it ever be something that Ziggie would consider that the customer would actually get the direct?
Yep, totally. That's totally on the roadmap. So as I was saying, the first part of the impact account is that somebody has the ability to direct their impact dollars. Functionality, we're bringing on more functionality. So for direct donation or recurring donation, things like that. So you could actually manage your entire charitable giving portfolio through Ziggie. I'll use my aunt as an example. They have a budget for charitable giving, and every year they kind of step back and are like, oh, we're going to give over here, and then we go over here. So they go to 6 different places. They could, the way we're wanting to have it set up, they could just come to Ziggie, manage their charitable donations through Ziggie. They're earning impact dollars, so that
And in the
amps it
future,
up.
then they'll actually get a deduction.
Absolutely,
Right,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, and then the other a key component too, we talked a little bit about impact statements. So we're really pushing organizations to be able to say, this money does X. Another thing that we're really focused on is matching funds. Many organizations have matching funds available for donations that don't get accessed because they don't get the donation to begin with. So through donating through Ziggie, I think World Vision has a matching fund program on right now. So I'll use you bought this shirt for $100, you got $10 in your impact org or your impact account. If you chose World Vision, if they have, I'm pretty sure it's a 4X match, that $10 actually turns into 40 because you donated through Ziggie. And that's again, real money at the end of the day, that we amplified that impact. And that's it.
And that's really, that's interesting that you can amplify the impact.
Totally.
I like that statement. Because one thing that I wanted to ask you about is there is this phenomenon called philanthropy fatigue or giving fatigue or charity fatigue, where people just expected to give, and it's just like, oh, and so how, so how do you address that? And then also there's a lot of philosophy about, true giving is when you give your energy and your commitment and your resources in a committed way, that if it's in this manner, it's really not a gift, or it's not true sincere charity. So what would you say to those people?
Yeah, so first on the kind of the philanthropy fatigue, I think Ziggie's a solution for that, because there's no give more. There's no, oh, well, can I have another $10? Can you donate another $100? What we've done is taken the transaction of purchase this product. Within that product, we're going to make it really easy for you to connect to a concern of yours. So it's not buy this for $100, and if you give us 110, then you'll donate. It's do something that you're going to do anyway, and embed the connection to concern within that transaction. So I think, and in our conversations with impact organizations, what they're finding, fundraising is hard.
It is.
Yes.
It's a perpetual.
It's perpetual.
It's like searching for the Holy Grail.
Yes, it's very hard. So they're very interested in opening up new channels of ways to access funds that in fact aren't tapping their donor for more money. So if we could bring our values into our everyday transactions and kind of make those things more meaningful, I think we actually kind of help solve that problem. And in that too, I think I would take a little, I would kind of be like, from a nonprofit's perspective, if they get $10 because somebody stood on the street corner and asked for donations to give and worked at it, or they got $10 because somebody bought a shirt on Ziggie, they're happy to get the $10 to do the work that their organization is up to.
Well, and how I view charity is the best form of charity that I can provide is to create jobs.
Yeah.
So you're enabling that to happen.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, and I would say that like when I look just like dollars and cents from an impact organization's perspective, like they're looking for additional funds to be raised. We're trying to help solve that problem. But if I also step back and get a little more philosophical about it, like I think one of the things that brings value to our lives is, or we feel fulfilled and happy when we're living in integrity with our values. That's
and upon that, we can sort of lay that the research. Dan Ariely is one of the researchers that has really brought forth the concept of proven studies, peer-reviewed studies, and papers put out is that in brain studies that when you give, you're actually firing off many parts of the brain that actually incorporate human connectivity.
Absolutely.
And you actually, these people have very positive effects on their lives. It helps with depression. So it's not all loopy stuff.
No,
and,
this is real science,
and there's a lot of science behind it.
And so that's been also one of our our
Are you
mission.
posting any of these studies online?
We haven't yet. I mean, we've all been so on getting things up.
You need a science officer.
I know. We our mission as a company is to envision and create the compassionate economy. So our vision as a company is to create the compassionate economy, and part of that is being really in integrity with your values. And all of the founders, and I'll say even just all of the people who've invested in Ziggie or been involved in Ziggie, contributed in so many ways. There's so many people I'd say thank you to right now. Part of, I'll speak for myself, being in service is a core value. And so when I think about building a business that ultimately is in service of brands that are trying to do things right, sustainable, organic, community development, they're working to create businesses that give more, do
but
more,
still be profitable.
And they're business.
Yes.
This isn't this isn't like, oh, this is fun. This is this is a real deal.
And it is, and I think that we have to communicate that some people take things to extremes in that, because of what you're doing, that this is maybe a pie in the sky, isn't a feel-good thing, because it is based on real core business values.
Absolutely.
Including this philanthropical.
I think that's a total it's old mindset from another era that business can't be feel good. It needs to be feel good,
but
folks.
it's like you having fun when you were a kid.
I don't know how to do it any other way.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's hard work or it's not hard work. It doesn't mean that you don't do the 14-hour days. It doesn't mean that
14 hours, luxury.
Yeah, I know, right? It doesn't mean that you're not concerned about profitability. It doesn't.
Well, you have to be, because
all of it's a business.
So how have when you've gone out to raise capital from. You've gone to VCs, you've gone to friends and family, you've gone to angel investors. What are the most, where does the most reluctance come from that has been shared with you? Where's the most resistance? And do you have any examples of where there was resistance and they actually turned around?
I think, and I'm new in the fundraising space.
There's probably some surprises.
Oh yeah, there's so many things about it that I was like, oh, this is how this works.
Or doesn't.
Or doesn't. Oh my gosh. That we have had fantastic success in dealing directly with people. More so.
But you're talking about the principals, or you're talking about the people, including say hypothetically Goldman Sachs, where you've got the young recruits.
We're just so all of our fundraising to date has been through, again, just individuals, not it hasn't been through VCs and angel groups. It's been with people, individual people.
Okay, so you haven't gone to VCs
yet. We're just starting to tap into that. Okay. So we've been, and this is, it's all been very, I can't say it's exciting. It's all very new to the pitch decks and the executive summaries and the everything. It's and here's my cash flow and here's the business model and when we have
here's my value adding proposition on the canvas and here's my
oh, and this guy didn't like when we said this, so you got to change. And I think actually I have a hard drive of backup decks. If every entrepreneur, we all got together and put every deck that we ever made together, I mean, we would go to the moon and back and around the world.
And what suits one person is not going to suit another person. And we were talking about before that, like adversity, these rejections and these trials are like shedding pounds
Totally.
for a prize fight.
Totally.
It just minimizes it all down to what is essential and what's going to be the most effective. Yeah. So it's a great exercise in itself, although it's just really...
I know, and then there's the part of me that's just like, here are the numbers. Like, we all have grown up in retail. Like, I can show you how it's going to work. Give me the money. Let me get to work.
I know.
And it's like, let me get to work.
I want to execute. Yeah. I don't want to blab. I want to execute.
No, I don't want to do any more shows. I just want to like do
put
the
down
work.
the palms
and like
just let's get into the game.
And so this is part of the work, right?
Yes, it is. It was part of it, and it's so time consuming.
Yes.
Because in many ways, this hustle for the capital can be, more detrimental in some ways to getting the business off.
Yeah.
It's the albatross that hasn't been released until it can fly.
Totally.
It's a weight until it can actually take off.
Yeah.
So,
and we have a big vision, so it's not like we were...
But it's scalable, and you guys are used to scale, so you know how to scale.
Yeah.
So what do you wish that your investors, that the investors that you visited with, we never cover all the things that we want to about us or our entity. What is it about that was a common theme when you visited with people that you wish that they just would get what they knew about you?
What they knew about me personally, or more the Ziggie?
Both.
Well, we've had really good success with individual people who, if in a position, we've had a really high success rate in terms of just getting with folks.
Can you say what percentage?
Yeah, I'm going to say close to 70%.
That's amazing.
And it's been a very, they're value-aligned folks who, I'll say this, with no disrespect to anyone, they put their money where their mouth is in terms of saying that they want a world to be better. They want businesses to be different. They want the world to improve. They want the environment to improve. They want people to be treated with respect. They want businesses that have people's best interests at heart, where the bottom line is first with people, and they trust that profit will be because people were taken care of. And
well, there's that value adding, but it's also you're providing goods and services that
other businesses are being developed because they have access.
But there's quality.
Absolutely.
Right. And this is not political, though, is it?
No.
Right.
Yeah, zero in the
good.
political space.
Yes.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, because we don't want to.
So it's like we've had great success, and those are the folks that I will say, this is an exhausting journey. And if there's anybody out there who is like, well, I'm just going to go start a business, it's like, do it. And if you just go for it, but don't think too hard about it, because you'll talk yourself out of it. Because it is, I'm a marathon runner. Like we
were both ultra.
So run, like, this is like mile 17. When you don't know what mile 17 feels like, you're like, and I have how much more to go? And then, you do ultras, right? So I've not graduated to that yet, but.
So whatever you do on the road, you can double on the trail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well.
But you're a farm girl. You can do it. You can do it.
You have to have stamina. That is
and you have to almost be bloody minded, because you have to just see it. You have to have the goal in mind, but then you take it moment by moment, step by step, keeping your eye on the goal. But that goal might change, but at least you're moving towards it.
Totally.
Because you have to be able to pivot if you need to.
Yep.
But still, moment by moment, it's step by step.
Yes.
But you're looking ahead.
Right. Yeah, and that ability to, you're a mountain biker also. That ability to be looking down trail and to be able to see just in front of your tire in a moment where you need to, and like that constant tracking.
You have to be fluid over the seat.
Totally.
I used to tell my daughter,
look, we should go for a ride after this, Josephie.
So, with me and my...
Yeah, I know.
So, I used to tell my daughter this, about mountain biking was like life. Is you've got no one that's going to... You don't have a domestique.
Yeah.
you've got no one else to get you to the end but
Right.
yourself,
Yep.
right?
That flat tire is yours to change.
It's yours to change. You've got to be responsible for that. And if you can't change it, don't expect someone to change it for you. But you look for the space.
And
Then
trust
that was the
gravity.
biggest thing. Trust and speed is your friend. But look for the space, because if you get distracted by anything, that's where you're going to head.
Totally.
So you look for the space and you go ahead and you don't seize up. You don't put your weight on the front of the handlebars, because you will break an endo. And so you have to, and as you get tired is when you start to crash. So what you have to do is just realign and just like bring your chest up and just get back into, proper form, and that will carry you
Totally.
through. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like where you're looking is where you're going, and gravity will take you if you
It's your
relax
friend
into
or
it.
your enemy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rubber side down.
Yeah.
All the scars
So
to
good,
prove
so
it.
good.
Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
But we learn and we crash, and it's okay not to be perfect.
Yes.
And this is the thing. Any adjustments is the universe or the market's way to say, not quite. Let's change.
Totally.
So have you made any changes?
Yeah, we've shifted. We're in the middle of. I don't want to say we've changed. We've had a big vision. We knew that our phase one was a more was a simpler version of a marketplace with editorial and bringing these, I'll say, bringing this community all together. And we knew what would be coming next was a deeper focus on technology and some of our other things that we're getting up to. So I don't think we've changed. I think we're now growing into those next phases, which it takes something else. Now we have to focus differently. But
So on that note,
Ooh,
so
we're
you
looking good, crystal
you gave this wonderful little lecture at the International
the
Association
IABC, yes.
of Business
Yes.
Communicators.
Yes.
And it was a really lovely talk. And in it you were talking about motivation, worth, and not flinching.
Yes.
So this is my little didactic here. Is as I hand this to you, in between when we meet, and we'll probably do it in the next month or two, is in regards to your motivation, your worth, and what does that mean, and not flinching.
Right.
What do you see those skill sets are going to be needed in the next wee bit of time?
Motivation continues to grow around the bigger commitment to what we're actually trying to accomplish. And although everybody on the team is tired and resources are tight, being motivated by knowing that the big picture is worth it. And I am a firm believer that we don't get challenges and paths presented to us in this life that we can't handle. So staying focused in that space, I think that will help my motivation. That I'm doing it for other people as much as I'm doing it for myself. That's a big one for me. And worth. The context in that talk was very different, but this is worth it. I'm a really hard worker, and I like a big challenge. And every one of those things career-wise I've always felt like really good, when you really pull something off big. And nothing has felt this as worth what we're trying to accomplish. So and knowing that there's a team of people and a group of investors who've come on in these early days who are like, yeah, this is worth it. And in fact, I'll pause for 1 second. The very first person who invested in this company, I won't share her name, but it was someone that I talked about Ziggie and how it was going, and I'm starting a company, and this is way back, friends and family days. And before I left their place of business, she handed me a check, and I was like, "You can't give me this. Like, you can't. This is too much money." And she just doesn't have a high-paying job. And she looked at me and she said, Bailey, I'm investing in this because it's worth it. Even if this startup goes nowhere, I will have invested in something that I believe in, and that's worth it. And then she finished with, and I think you're the person to do it, which, so back to motivation.
That's a slick operation.
That was, I mean, that
like your grandfather said.
I walked home, when I got home, I was like, hey babe, we got our first investor. He was just like, whoa, like it became real for him too.
Yeah.
And then not flinching. Yeah, not flinching. Like, we're in it. Like, this is the real deal, and it is, it's not just important to me because I'm creating a job. It's important to me because we have a vision about a compassionate economy, and business needs that. We as people need that. So let's build that.
So what challenges do you see coming ahead in this next time that, are there immediate things that are obvious to you? You're going to start launching into seeing VC, so that's going to be something really interesting to sort of get a report back on that.
Yes.
And, what is the next phase of Ziggie?
Yeah, the biggest focuses next are moving into that VC space because we're starting our Series A. And then it's also with that resource, because I am confident that we'll land that. It's also it's game on, right? Like, this has been a network of 10 committed people working really hard to make this come to life, and we're constrained in ways because you don't have all the expertise and the total laser focus on detail that you just can't get to it all. I don't have someone obsessing over copy right now, and someone should be obsessing over copy. I don't have someone who's obsessing over X, and the next thing will be to scale the company with all of those critical skill sets. And I'll say, from my point of view, what I will hold myself accountable to is all of those people need to come in and have an experience of this brand that is rich and deep and meaningful. And I want that for a consumer, for part of our outside community, but I want it for our internally.
You almost want to have that same experience, it sounds like, that you did with Timberline?
No, the Territory Ahead.
Territory Ahead.
Yeah.
So you want to have that experience with Territory Ahead.
It has to, the brand experience, my title, it's COO, and people operations, that's the flow charts and the supply chain. It's if I could change that title, it'd be orchestration. Chief Orchestration Officer. It's choreography, and it's timing and
getting
balance,
them to all play well together.
How does it all work, and how do you make? I wholly believe this. The experience that a consumer has with a brand happens because the experience is happening internally. I worked at Coldwater Creek is another great example. In those days, Coldwater, the complete respect they had for the woman that they served, we owned that inside too. And Lulu is another great example of that. What you create inside of a company, as soon as that isn't there, people can smell that from a mile away.
Yes, they can.
Right?
Yes.
So the brand experience for me is not just external. The brand experience start for everybody who comes to work.
Experience comes from execution.
Right.
Of
experience and actually, and how is it happening? How is it working?
Yes. And it's a journey.
Yeah.
And we're only this part of this journey.
Yes.
And we look forward to visiting with you very soon as you go through. And we can't wait for you to share those stories. And we can't wait to, track your journey. And we invite all of you to, follow Bailey and follow Ziggie and celebrate and support and come along with us. And as we come along, you'll connect more with Bailey and connect more with Ziggie as they connect whole communities together.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Josephie. I really am
pleasure.
such an honor.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the video. I know that you're excited in following these people. Hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in your journey too.